Good morning, and thank you for tuning into the O'Rourke Report. Got a bunch of things to go over with today. So, before we start, if you want to be notified every time we put new content out, please hit the subscribe button. Subscribe button. That's the most important button. That'll notifications good too, but subscribe. This will be added to your feed, and you should be able to see every time we put new stuff up. Okay, let's dive right into it. Let's go into the OC reunion part two. And I thought there was a lot of real tough stuff that came up in this their annual rehash of how the season went. The women all come um, armed with all sorts of props and evidence of the other one's malfeasance. But I thought particularly cringeworthy, obviously, Tamara Judge is well aware that she's really maybe gone over the line here. She has lost the backing of a lot of people in the public, a lot of the commentary. These women live and breathe in the comments. I mean, this is their life is spent. What are people saying about me? Um, clearly, Tamara is aware that she's overstepped in a major way with Shannon in particular this year. Uh, and so, anyway, she does this whole big apology, which has got tiny little micro beads of sincerity in there, but not as a whole. She also claims she's now going to go into therapy over this. Well, um, nobody believes that. Nobody believes she's going to make any attempt to change. She's making those statements strictly to get her contract for the coming season. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with her. Do the producers in Bravo listen to the clamoring of the viewers and her castmates and have her go away like Vicky did? But it remains to be seen. The other thing okay. The interesting thing I think coming up, um, yeah, I'm going to say a little bit about this epitomic as well. Katie's daughter, again, we're going to talk about the kids. I can't imagine how hard it is for a lot of these children of the housewives who have their lives interrupted, lose their mother for however long it takes to tape a season, 4 months, I don't know. I bet it's hard on a lot of kids, and especially if they're on that cusp of adulthood. You know, it's so difficult. It's. I think we all remember. If you're not already there, you will come up with it. But God, those late teen years are tough. They're tough, in hoping you fit in, hoping you're one of the, just trying to be normal. And then your mom's out doing some of these crazy things on TV. Well, Katie has a daughter. Katie is the new cast member, the one who you recall is going after Heather, strangely going after Heather Dubrow, despite the fact that she absolutely gets pounded, direct hits from Heather Dubrow every time she brings something up that's confrontational to Heather. Heather goes right after her and shuts her down, but it's almost like she's compelled to continue to go after Heather, despite the poundings that she's taking. And I wonder what's behind all that. But anyway, so that's Katie. You'll know who Katie is. Her daughter evidently put out, is on TikTok, as so many of these kids these days are. And she did a little rant against, I think she called it her mother's friends. and about how mean they are and how bitchy they are and blah 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 blah. Well, the kid's not wrong, and the kid has an out, and she's letting that out. So of course the women, pile on Katie over that. How dare you let your daughter have put that out there? If that was my daughter, I would have had her take it right down. Um, just blasting Katie for her daughter's TikTok. And Katie is, obviously doing this passive aggressive thing because we see this one scene earlier in the season where she's having dinner with her young son and her husband. I think it's Heather's name that comes. Yeah, it's Heather's name that comes up. And the little boy goes, "Isn't that the one that's mean to you?" And obviously, the little boy knows he's saying something that he knows will please mommy, because mommy pretends she rolls her eyes as she's eating dinner, instead of saying, "Hey, don't say that, Johnny," or whatever the boy's name is. I don't know what the boy's name is. um, Katie kind of enjoys it a little bit that the boy is bad mouthing Heather. Well, the daughter's doing it in a much bigger way, and they pound on Katie over that. Keep kids out of it. Just keep kids out of it. There should have been no mentions of the daughter's TikTok. Hey, listen, ladies, you all signed up for this. Look at Tamara with her children, how disastrously that turned out for her. Another, well, I guess it was normal to want to have, if you've met a new person and she has a daughter the same age as your daughter, you want them to hang out together, or maybe meet each other, maybe like each other. I remember my father did that for me one time. My father lived in California, and they had a family friend who moved to the East Coast, and they reached out to me, and I was like, I really didn't want to have anything to do with them, but that was my choice. So anyway, yeah, it's usually uncomfortable when you try to, find a friend for your daughter or your child. So anyway, they tried to do that with Tamara's girl and Katie's girl, and apparently they didn't hit it off, and there was a general ennui about each other. So anyway, why did I get into the subject of the daughter? Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about this in Potomac a little bit, but this Mia and Gordon and Ink, who's the father of the child? Oy vey. I mean, you could clearly solve this problem off camera. You're the mother. You can take a DNA sample of the child and the person who you're saying is the father, and find out if that is true. You don't have to play this out on camera. But I think, and this is where I'm blaming the producers, I think the pressure is put on Mia. You need to talk about this on camera. You committed to telling us everything about your life. They don't have to play that game. They can sit, when it comes to the children, they really should pull back. I think the housewives en masse should pull back and demand that the children be kept out of it. So anyway, that is, the other thing I want to say about Katie is, again, we see the husband who tried his best to back out of and confrontation with Shannon Bedore, who escalated and escalated and escalated until she finally figured out she had everything wrong, and then she tried to apologize. There's another little vignette at this dinner party where the husband, I don't know his name, but I kind of like him a little bit, says to somebody, "Jesus, I'm just trying to stay away from Ryan, Jen's boyfriend. I'm just trying to stay away from him and his friends." And they did look like a motley crew, and they're in that whole Vegas bookie world where you have millions of dollars changing hands in betting, and he was rightfully trying to stay away from that crew, because it's probably not the best bunch of people to hang out with. Now, having said that, let me just tell you, don't love, but I don't mind when the husbands become part of the dialogue. You always see that if somebody, I think the first time we really saw it is when PK went after Erica Jane in either his first season or her first season. I don't know, but PK did not pull any punches. I loved it. And of course, the women, uh, in order to put PK in his place and subsequently Dorit in their place, complained mightily about the husbands becoming involved. Well, I don't have a problem with it. Like I said in the last O'Rourke report, I love the way John Barlow stood up for his wife. It was done maturely, it was done well, and boy oh boy, Lisa Barlow's a lucky girl. This guy has her back 125,000%. So a fan of not don't have any problem with the husbands becoming involved. Final thing I'm going to say on the OC is the set. The set was, they had, as though they were in a an outdoor dining environment, and you know how they have those big heating elements that have the live flame in it. There was just like too much flame going on, especially with all those hair extensions and hairspray and everything else that these women have. I feared for people's lives with those flames. And that's all I'm going to say in Potomac. So anyway, where are we going here? We are going on to Potomac. We're not going to say much about Potomac, but we are going to say one thing. I finally figured out who one of the new people were. This is the guy, this is the one whose name is Jassi, and the husband is a football player from the Kansas City Chiefs. So at the time Potomac's filming was going on, it was right around the time of when the winner of the Super Bowl is invited to the White House. It's an annual thing. And oh, this Jassi played the grande dame over the festivities, and they had a reception after the White House reception, and the camera cuts to Karen, who is licking her lips, just beside herself that somebody else was playing the grande dame and had something to legitimately crow about. It really stuck in Karen's craw, or at least that's what the producers wanted us to see, was Karen grimacing, I guess, and it was pretty funny. The only other thing I want to say about Potomac, really, who is this now? Oh yeah, the only other thing I want to say is Ashley finally found a cute hairdo. And it was at I think it was at the dinner that Jassi threw, or the reception that Jassi threw. But she did it, those of a certain age will remember lilt perms. You could do it very light, or you could do it very tight. She just did a very light, it looked like, well, of course, it probably wasn't a perm. She just probably had a great blowjob. Well, she might have had that too. Hair blowjob. But it was cute. It was light. It was feminine. It just looked like a beautiful head of hair. Do it more often, Ashley, because your taste levels are going down, down, down. That's my opinion. Okay, let's go on to odds and ends. I only have two little odds and ends, and both. Oh, okay. All right. Teresa first on Watch What Happens Live. Did you notice she wasn't in the primary chair? She was in the distaff chair. Wow. I wonder what she had to say about that. Ashley Darby had the main chair, which was very interesting. As much as I'm not a fan of Teresa, I gotta say she belongs in the primary chair, and Ashley Darby belonged in the secondary chair. But anyway, the only interesting thing about her appearance is the question of the Jerseys reunion came up. And of course, Andy asked Teresa some question, was she happy with the way the reunion went? And of course, Teresa goes, no, I really think the Medusa should have shown all the evidences that I had against Margaret. And even Andy just rolled his eyes and he didn't even pursue it. He just let it drop like a hot potato. Teresa, again, she's in that seventh grade mentality. All I have to do is say it, and that makes it true. So, my final piece I'm going to say here is not in the Bravo world, not in the reality world, but in the Yellowstone world. Now, everybody can agree the first couple of seasons of Yellowstone were great. They were great seasons. They spent a lot of time on the scenery, those helicopter shots, and drone shots over the ranch, everything, the cattle drives. Cinematically, it was just beautiful. Up to me, the weakest character has always been that over the top daughter. I don't even know what the actress's name is. I don't even know what her name is on the show. This is the most unbelievable character. There is nothing plausible about the way this character is being acted or portrayed. I don't know who's to blame for it, but it's over the top. She's a horrible drunk. She doesn't do anything right. Everything in her life goes into the crapper because of the way she handles conflict. She's just an unbelievable character, and Yellowstone wants me to believe she's somebody in charge, always knows how to take and do this, do that. When Daddy's in trouble, she jumps and she does that. It's just, I didn't even watch episode 2 of whatever this season finale is. Or is it series finale? It could be series finale. Whatever the falling out was between Kevin Costner and Sheridan, who is the showrunner, it was big. It directly affected everything, including the writing has just gotten worse. And it's too bad because the first couple of seasons were great stories. And so anyway, that's all I have to say about that. That's all we have for today. And as always, thank you so much for joining. I can't tell you how much I enjoy these things. And always love to hear your feedback. So if you've stuck around this long and you haven't hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button and drop me some comments and let me know what you think, what you like, what you didn't like. Oh, I'd love to hear. I have some people who leave me some comments that are really, really insightful, and I really enjoy them. So anyway, thank you so much for dropping by. Look forward to our next. What do we have coming up this week? Well, we have Salt Lake. Salt Lake looks like it's a barn burner this year. Really, really looks good. We have Salt Lake, and of course we have OC. And who else am I forgetting? I'm forgetting somebody. Well, anyway, thank you so much for dropping by. Appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you next time.